We oftentimes get asked, what is the number one way to produce tax-free income? And so today in this video, we are going to outline the number one way high income earners can produce tax-free income in 2024. And it's exciting because one of the benefits we need to talk about is the fact that this used to only be available to high net worth individuals, and now it's also available to high income earners. The strategy that we're going to talk about, Rod, is what we call the capital avalanche strategy. And it is the number one way to produce high income, to produce tax free, massive tax free income in 2024. Why don't you tell us a little about it?
Yeah, the capital avalanche is a strategy where we are taking something that's been used for a little while called life insurance retirement plan, or LIRP. You may have heard of it. Basically, what people are doing is they're putting amounts of money into a life insurance policy that is maximum built for growth in the cash value. Why? To create tax-free retirement income. Now, what we've done is we've taken that and we put it on steroids, because the majority of the money going into the plan in the capital avalanche is coming through a loan from the bank. All right, how does it work? Well, first thing, what we're going to do is we'll set up the plan, again, optimized to grow the cash value, produce maximum income later. Initially, the individual puts money into the plan. But then what's happening is that creates an asset, right? And that money goes into the cash value inside a life insurance policy. Now we have an asset. We go to a bank and we set up a line of credit using that asset as collateral. And then what do? We tap into the line of credit to keep putting money into the policy. That increases the asset value. Line of credit goes higher. Next year, we do it again. Tap in line of credit, put more money in. So that by the time you get to the point where you're ready to start taking income off of it, the majority of the money going into that plan has happened through leverage. And who doesn't like leverage? We all use it, right? In our businesses, in real estate, in a lot of the different investing that we do, we use leverage. We're just doing the same thing here, using leverage to make more income than we could ever create on our own.
So we're using a powerful acronym that we're all familiar with, other people's money. We're literally using financing from the bank. Another framework that you might have oftentimes heard what we're utilizing called is premium finance, because I'm literally financing the premiums that are going into the policy by the bank. And so again, I'm using leverage to create the same kind of flow that I do in my real estate and other assets, right? I've thought about this for years, Rod. If it makes sense to utilize conservative leverage to bolster our income, our returns in relationship to real estate and other assets, why wouldn't we do the same thing when we're focusing on producing tax free income?
Answer: I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't.
There's no reason why we shouldn't. Like, I guess the biggest reason is because most people just don't know how to do it. They're not aware of that it even exists as something they can use. So what we're doing is here making people aware of another alternative that could be a really powerful way to produce the kind of income that you want, especially if you're a high income earner today that is focused on creating that same high income for future down the road when I'm no longer working. It's important that I'm doing the right types of planning. And again, the capital avalanche does this in a really big way. What I want to do next, Rod, is I want to look at a comparison. I want to look at a comparison between a traditional life insurance plan, like you talked about, versus what it looks like when we bolster it by utilizing the capital avalanche strategy. What does that actually look like from a numbers perspective? And why would somebody want to do that rather than just pay the premiums out of their pocket on their own?
So is a case study. We have two individuals. We have Norm on the left, and he is doing just a traditional life insurance policy. So he's going to set aside $100,000 a year for 10 years, so a total of $1 million going into the plan, just using a traditional index universal life policy. Okay, we'll look at in a minute at what that produces for him later. At the same time, we have Prosperity. She's setting up a similar plan, $100,000 a year for 10 years, but she's using the capital avalanche. So in other words, the first 100,000 she puts into the plan gets her started, creates that asset. In year two, another 100,000 is going to go into those original policies that she set up in year one, but it's coming as a loan from the bank through that line of credit. Her next 100,000, she's actually going to create additional policies, stack them, or think of it like laddering, right? Each year she's laddering additional policies on as she continues to contribute $100,000 a year. And because she does that for 10 years, when you look at the leverage that she's getting at the end of those 10 years and moving forward from there, there's literally $1 million a year going into her policies all through this leverage using the asset that she's created for collateral. Creates a big difference. You would think, right? All right, well, let's look at it. So when we fast forward and we say, okay, they each started this when they were 46. Okay. They start taking income at age 60, and we're going to take some snapshots. On Norm's side, when he starts creating that income, he's going to be able to produce $102,000 a year of tax-free income from age 60 to age 90. So the total out for him is about 3.1 million. And then when he passes away, there's an additional death benefit of about 250,000. So total that's come back for Norm is $3.4 million tax-free. Okay. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, for Prosperity, because of the leverage, because of the capital avalanche strategy, she's taking the income and immediately she can get more income, right? When we take a snapshot at age 65, she's getting 320,000. At age 90, 1.9 million of income, tax-free income coming out. The total over those years from age 60 to 90 is about $27 million of tax-free income. And when she passes away at age 90, an additional 24 million death benefit. So $51.6 million of benefit coming out from the same million that she put in. Here's what people say to me. They say, well, this just sounds too good to be true. 3.4 versus 51. I mean, come on, Rod, let's be real. But here's the difference. The asset by itself is able to produce about a 5 to 6% IRR. And that gives Norm the benefit that he got, right? His million going in, 3.4 million coming out. Well, with the leverage, we're able to turn that 5.4% IRR into a 14% IRR. So it's not like it's some crazy outlandish return that we're producing here, 14%. But when you take that year over year from age 46 to age 90, the compounding difference in that makes it so that the 3.4 becomes 51 million bucks.
Well, and not only that, Rod, but it's 5.4% on your money versus 14% on the total amount that's going in. All right, well, that is a massive difference when you talk about 5.4% IRR versus 14%. And I think it's pretty obvious why this is indeed the number one way to produce massive tax-free income in 2024. If you agree, disagree, or otherwise, let us know in the comments below. Click the button below if you want to learn more.